It is important to move to the next level. So, from chaos to clarity in everyday life, whether you are living personal, professional, social, and family life. First question comes, are we transforming? I'm not saying only changing. Are you transforming? Are you navigating in peace, harmony, and calmness? A small problem can become a big problem, pain and the suffering. So there are some problems coming from prarabdha, vasanas. So there we need an endurance, and some problems are created by the current impressions that we can immediately solve. So, in the next session, I will raise many questions, and it is important for you to discuss with yourself answers of these questions. Now, a simple thing to understand, which will begin the inner transformation. Seeker's life is transformed inside totally. How that happens and what you have been doing, you have to analyze it yourself. Real self is of the I've been talking about. The real self is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. It is unchanging. We say it is all pervading. It is beyond time. We started from there. Why to recognize and realize, why to realize, to awaken and end suffering from the life. Again, I'm stressing. Pay attention. Real self is permanent happiness. It is not affected by the pain and the pleasure, duality, likes and dislikes. If you experience pain and the pleasure in the body and the mind, how you deal with it? Now we all are seekers. Does your mind say, I'm happy today and I'm unhappy? I was unhappy yesterday. Can you say that? Or you remember, you separate, you discern instantly. Life is going to transform. Are you getting it? Who says that I am suffering? I have a pain today. I'm not good today. I was very fine yesterday. Who says it? It is the mind. It is the I thought. It is the ego. But then what happens the moment you forget that I'm the real self and you remember that I have the pain? The mind takes over, the subtle ego takes over. Nobody knows, but your subtle ego takes over and you become the doer, you become the experiencer. Oh, what's a big deal? You have been talking about this. No, I have to recognize I became the doer and the experiencer. That is the problem. I became the doer and I became the doer and the experiencer. That is the problem. So, should I get rid of this doer and the experiencer? Will they not remain? They will continue to remain. Only thing, I is separated from there. I am the real self. Pain is in the body. suffering is in the body. Either it is coming from the past impressions or it is coming from what will happen if you remember. You are dissolving that subtle ego which has been suffering since our birth. That ego, that I is suffering since our birth. If not, then what is the fun of saying that the real self is of the nature of peace and happiness? What is the fun? I'm of the nature of the real self. What is the fun then? Are you getting it? Little subtle because we are now going for a transformation to recognize and realize that the real self, what we need. After the session, your mind reminds you that I have to do this thing, or I have 5 things to do, I have an agenda. You get busy, your mind goes into anxiety. Every action results into some form of anxiety. You're not relaxed. The way you are listening, the session after that level of calmness and relaxation disappears. Why? Because of this I thought. Because I become the doer and the enjoyer. Is the real self doer? If it is a doer, then it is subjected to change. When it is subjected to change, then we cannot reach to the permanent state of peace and happiness. So there is an outer covering. It instantly comes. And it comes to everyone. It comes to everyone. That outer covering, because of my past impression, because of the prarabdha, I have to do a lot of things. No, let me rush. There is no rush in the real self. Do I experience that sense of anxiety and rushing and the worries? It means I have yet to undergo a transformation. But why it is happening? I told you that as long as I am the doer, I am the experiencer, that is a subtle ego. In the society, it is very simple. It's very easy. I have experienced the tasty food in a restaurant or whatever you experiencer, doer. Real self transcends the doer and the experiencer. I experience all the pleasures. I experience all the pain. I transcended it. What it needs, only a remembrance. Buddha says in the seventh of the Eightfold Noble Path, Samyak Smriti, self-remembering. Do you remember that I am of the nature of the real self, unchanging? It cannot be the doer. It is simply present. In the presence of the light, I'm seeing you. You are present or you are absent. The light continues to stay. Are you getting it? They're going for another transformation, another level. It's very important because if we do not discern and separate, the problem will continue. Then you will say, yes, during the practice of meditation, I will go very deep. And after the meditation in my personal, professional life, I still have a lot of challenges. What happens? I forget it. Why I forget it? Because I take it for granted that I'm the doer, I'm the enjoyer. So those people who are heavily conditioned and experiencing themselves as a doer and the experiencer, they have a subtle ego. They will not join the session because they are embedded. They are very much deeply ingrained with that idea that I'm the doer. So the master is asking us, are we capable at present to realize the real self? When 24 by 7, answer is yes or no, you can answer it. Can we directly recognize the real self at present? Answer is yes or no. So if the answer is yes and no, then I'm really into ignorance. Do we have a power to realize the real self directly without doing anything? If no, what should we do? There is a sense of forgetfulness. We need to separate the doer and the experiencer from that consciousness. Or you can say ego. It is the ego. It's a positive ego, the doer, and it becomes the negative. It doesn't take time. To be capable to harness that power, we need to do the 8 steps regularly without fail for a couple of weeks. Then all the 8 steps becomes simply the one step that we will talk later. Where lies the problem? Problem lies that we do not have a direct method to realize the real self. Indirect method. I will not say direct method. That I cannot see that real self. I cannot experience the real self through the senses and the mind. What is required? That is why regular satsang is required. Regular satsang is required that will build the emotional intelligence, and the 8 steps will ultimately help us to reach to that state of transformation. We can understand these principles, but we like to apply them in daily life. Why? We normally forget. So when you share your experience, yesterday was very bad, and then I did the practice self-remembering. You remember, you reached to that state, and then you recognized it, and you say, yes, I got rid of the pain. I got rid of the anxiety. But that stage has to reach where this gap is filled with the wisdom, that you are no longer the doer and the experiencer. Internally, in the transactional world, yes, I'm coaching, I'm teaching you. Yes, you are listening. Listener and the doer remain present in the transactional world simultaneously. I am aware of the real self. That begins the real transformation, and what it takes: regular satsang. Regular satsang is required. How ego continues its journey in our daily life? We get attached and detached. We start desiring, deluded, seeking happiness outside. This mind by default seeks the happiness outside. And the moment you are engaged in seeking the happiness, it creates and strengthens our ego. That is why we need to drop and dissolve this attachment. Now you understand why we want to drop the attachment. It is only because it builds the veil. It veils the real self. Attachment, anxiety, delusion, duality, conflict, greed, they all creates a veil so that we don't recognize. I want to marry, I am single. One desire is there, I want to marry. Okay, second desire, you have many sub desires. That is why we discussed one desire of seeking anything in the world causes 1 million sub desires. And all those sub desires for the main desire creates a false identity of the false I, and that veils the real self. It can only be removed by understanding. You can do a lot of breathing practices, mantra, it is not going to help. People are deluded. That is what the master says. So should I, no, if I'm single, should I not marry? No, marry. If I'm married and if there is a chance comes, should I not divorce? You divorce. But that doer and the experiencer is not making the decision. The ego is not making a decision. Decision is made by the discernment and a dispassion. What happens in our daily life? One desire is there, I want to marry, take an example. Now, associated with the desire to marry, what type of the boy and girl he or she is? Is he or she handsome, intelligent? Is she? So you have already a doubt of duality. Can I get along with it? Okay, yes or no, but still let me date. Who is pushing you to date? My past impressions, prarabdha, sensuality, other things, let me date. Uh, by dating, are you able to find out? I'm raising a question. Don't stop dating, but I'm just asking you. Can the dating help me or dating strengthens my ego? Yes. Out of the five, four criterias are met. Hence, let us go. Who created those four criterias? My ego. Same in dating, same in divorce. One example. Reduce that example to everyday purchase. Same thing happens. Understand that clearly. Understand that clearly. If we do not drop the very doership, you wake up in the morning, oh no, I have five things to do. Doership causes the anxiety. Do you see that? The label, I'm the do. Oh, I have to complete all the five stuff today, and oh, I got late, and let me. But the real self is not neither the doer nor the experience. Light. We are discussing on the Eastern wisdom. The light has nothing to do, but without light, I cannot do it. Without that consciousness, so we recognize, you remain aware, problem is not there. Oh, five things are there. You wake up in the morning, oh, your mind reminds you five things are there. Okay. What is that? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, Okay, done. Every action causes the anxiety, and engaging into an action is the doership. Doership is there because I want to experience the pleasure, but still I have a doubt. So all these impressions of desires, sub-desires, creates a veil behind the real self. First step, all the 8 steps has to be done, and regular satsang, so that we can move to the higher principles. If you do not dissolve and drop the ego, we cannot realize that unchanging consciousness or the real self in us. We are going a little deeper. Now let us examine this false I. False I cannot work without name in the form. Any thought, an example, now I'm going for a dating, it obviously name in the form. Form is name in the form. The world is nothing but the name in the form. We are going deeper. We are digging deep inside our head. Look at the beauty of this journey of the Eastern wisdom. Those teachers have gone so deep. So we reduced the falsi as it has a content of the name in the form which identifies with the I thought in the mind. So the problem is with the name in the form. Just think of it. There is no name in the form. Do you have a problem? I want to marry, but there is a problem. Marry home, name in the form. I want to buy this, name in the form. I have to reach there, name in the form. Do you see that? Everywhere. Oh, my son is sick or healthy, name in the form. So ultimately, this I thought works with millions of names in the forms. Can you have stress without name in the form? Tell me. That guy is crazy. It makes me stressed. Name in the form. So you remove the name in the form. Do you have that? Do you have a stress? Think. Eastern wisdom is not saying that believe it. Think, think, think. I have a lot of stress at the subconscious level. I remember something, someone, some event, some situation with a name in the form. Are you getting it? Do you have a stress now? Because now you recognize it. You are aware of, oh, there is no name in the form. There is no stress. There is no pleasure seeking mind. There is no attachment. There is no detachment. It is here and now. Just think. Doesn't mean that you go to your honey, I'm detached with you. You have created another falsi when you say this. Master wants you. You have to live into that awareness. Are you getting it? So where we have reduced to this wisdom, name in the form. There are millions of name in the forms. I told you that from New Jersey, that women said, I will spend mourning and in what is the word that when someone dies, the word used grief. Yes. I will spend 1 week in grief because Elizabeth Queen died. It happened after 6 months. First name in the form. Then mind says, she is no more. So no more means the death. Death has a element of fear, absence, loneliness, but I am forcing my mind to be in grief for a week who has already passed 6 months ago. Is it ego? Eastern wisdom is not saying believe it, think, think. So name in the form. Name in the form means an object. An object. So what is the solution? So what is it? Millions of the thoughts. I can bet you understand. You can go back to today's experience before joining this session, yesterday's experiences. A moment of getting upset or a reaction, name in the form, any object. Remember this. Just remind yourself. So once we have understood Desires, sub-desires, I thought, falsi, which is veiling, which makes me forget the real self, which is unchanging, which is not a doer, which is not an experiencer. So we have reached to a point of an object. Object has a name in the form. It's a simple definition. Any object. Object may be a person, an event, or a situation, and the mind moves there. It recognizes, I understand, this is what the problem is. So the I thought has come. So basically, we have gone very deep into our head. We say this object of name in the form. No name in the form, no ego. What should we do? What is the solution? I'm talking about emotional intelligence, emotional resilience, or emotional quotient. Oh, but are they related? Yes, Master says you can get rid of all those millions of objects of name in the form by allowing the mind to remain focused, reminded, repeated of one object of name in the form. What is that object which we say the image of the God? 26 years, after 10 years, I learned this. I understood this. So what I did, to remove all the objects, my Gurudev, my Guru. It is not the Guru that you go in India, we go and touch the feet. That's had nothing to, yes, in the beginning it is good. But can I remind that Guru is the image of the real self? So I remind the real self, because mind cannot know the real self, but I have to create an object. So we have Krishna, we have Ganesha. Even Buddhism has taken up that concept. Buddha, image of the Buddha. Buddha said, no images, please. Did you understand? I'm trying to convey. One object is constantly reminded in the mind to dissolve, to drop, to destroy all the objects which contains an element of expectations and attachment and duality and a conflict. When I say my Guru, I still remember. Now it comes by default. Did you understand? My God is always my Guru, so I call him Gurudev. Deva. Deva is a faculty of the God. Consciousness takes the name in the form. So what we are doing? Millions of objects of name in the form. I told you, you cannot have an anxiety without an object of name in the form. You cannot have pleasure without the object of name in the form. Pleasure means temporary happiness. Pain, pleasure, duality, anger, attachment, duality, expectations, delusion, add everything. Add all the 3,000 mental illnesses. I studied abnormal psychology while doing the masters in India. There are more than Krishna, there are more than 3,000 mental illnesses. Yes, more than 3,000. And without object, you cannot have that illness. Emotions passes through that object with I thought. It creates a stress, it creates a pleasure, it creates a reaction, etc., etc. Getting it. You have to, it takes time. By satsang, you will come to realize that, yes, this is what you are saying. We'll go into the detail of that. What is that satsang? So, the Eastern wisdom, our master suggested, says that you can have an image so that the mind can refer to that image. You can have any image. What image I use in meditation? I've been using the triangle. I did not, I thought better not to use any image because your mind will feel, oh, he's talking about the cult, dogma, and belief. No, I'm not talking. At a much higher level, you have those triangles or other geometrical designs, which is known as yantras. And after that, you leave it. Once you reach to the higher state, that you feel, oh, now it is not required. But you keep it. You remember, you have gone through that process, you have transformed yourself. You have transformed yourself. I'm talking about satsang, emotional intelligence, and the six treasures. So, by the satsang, we have already understood what is the company of the real. That is what we are exploring. Company of the real. Why we forget? Anytime you have anxiety, stress, duality, and conflict, you remember which object with the name and the form, situation, people, relationship is there. You remember. That is present in the mind. You throw it out. No, I love my honey. Can I throw my honey? I'm not saying physically, from your mind. Your mind you have to throw out. I hate you. You, it is an object. Mentally, become aware and throw it out. Will you have a hatred? But the mind goes back to the other objects. So the mind should not go to the other object. You replace it by one object, one image. Oh, whether it is a guru or a triangle or the one, because we cannot idealize our near and the dear ones because we have seen them lot of weaknesses. you know in ancient days, master used to teach you idealize your parents. Your father is equivalent to the god. Those are the days 5 or 6,000 years ago. Now even the 5-year-old son finds 10 faults in a father. Well, so we use that, what we say, my guru. Guru is that state of the consciousness I'm remembering with the name and the form of the nature of the real self. I am asking my mind to continue to move with all the emotions that is pure, minus dualities. That is the subject matter of all the religions. I mean, we say like this, forget, Or you simply remember. Use the triangle. Out of pure emotion, when I offer my namaste to my master, it's always full of that pure emotion. How it has come by getting rid of all the objects which carries millions of different emotions, guided and dictated by expectations and attachment and duality and a conflict. Can you have a pure emotion for your honey, for your son, for society, for a political leader, for your past events? Nothing. No. So we pick up one. Or you simply pick a mantra. A sound is also good. Om Shanti. Oh, Om Shanti is the real self. I mean, people pronounce differently, I don't know. You haven't this. That is the subject matter, what I said, linked satsang and the emotional intelligence. That emotional intelligence is known as the bhakti, or another word is known as the devotion. Devotion. I'm 100% devoted to, for example, devoted to my honey. What it means. I'm constantly remembering of all my thought, speech, and action with reference to honey. Did you get it? So we are using even the God as a tool for transformation. Answer is yes. I will make that, I will confirm that statement. Yes, we will use that. So that this false I completely dissolves. Whatever is left is either the God or the real self. How does satsang relate to your personal search for meaning? Whether you are navigating the midlife transition or baby boomers or Gen X, are you sad? Yes, frequently. Anyone, any gen can become sad. Find yourself lonely? Yes. Even at young age, we find lonely. Difficult to transition to life? Yes. Just remind. First, the 8 steps, are you doing it? Remember? Then come to the satsang. Then check your emotional resilience with the reference to, and you see what happens. What happens? Transformation. Ecstasy. I'm not talking of ecstasy pills. I'm talking of ecstasy. Can you make out? I told you in knowledge, teacher, intellect, prarabdha and vasana, emotion is now. Mind needs the emotion to transform my life. Without emotion, mind is not going anywhere. I'm totally exhausted after this session of Eastern wisdom. Let me take a cup of coffee. So, what happened? Mind is already emotionally attached to that. Otherwise, you don't. Mind is emotionally referring to the real self through an image or an object, marries to the intellect. I told you before. You're done. When? Here and now, instantly, you get rid of the doer and the experiencer from the mental screen. Are you not aware? Yes, I'm aware. What is that? Your real self. Your real self. You are. You are. It is here and now. We will go and go a little deeper into the satsang because that will help us to understand the second part, the emotional resilience. And in the next session, I'll ask you a couple of the questions so that you can ask yourself in order to change and transform your mind. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Place, position, and posture. Very good. And being comfortable, you see, does the reference point will work? You may say that I have a lot of the thoughts object, ego, past impression, expectations. I have just explained you. And being comfortable, I'm always comfortable with reference. I'm talking about my personal experience with my master. Comfort. Oh, he is the greatest comfort to me. Object. Behind that, consciousness. Being comfortable for me. I'm just giving the reference. Being carefree. Oh, the thoughts are moving. Oh, let it move. I'm carefree. We idealize he is the perfect. Why? Because the real self is perfect, unchanging. What we are doing, we are triggering the emotions which is distracted, distributed in millions of the objects, has an impression in my mind. I leave it. Just being aware of the flow of the breath, flow of the breath, and in that flow of the breath, there is an awareness behind. So Buddha chose one object. That object is flow of the breath. Breath awareness, or what we say the breath mindfulness. Never use the word focus on the mind because the focus means the I thought has to focus. And when I thought has to focus, this I thought will invite all the past impressions. I have never used it. I'm just reminding you, just think of it. And in that flow of the breath, we pick up the objects. The first neighbor is the world outside. What I said, it is a neighbor. Can you emotionally understand that it is a neighbor, but it is not me? So all the objects of the world has nothing to do with me. Why I'm stressed? Why I'm into anxiety? Why reaction? Second neighbor is the physical body. Whatever I know by the mind is an object, and it has a name in the form, whether it's a subtle name in the form or a gross. Oh, the body is also the neighbor, but I'm not the body. I'm the body emotionally attached. You see, the problem of fear of the death will come. Emotions are gone. Well, this is an object. My guru, for example, I'm talking about myself. The third one is the energy, the prana. Prana, also know the flow. We experience it is also an object because I know. Mind with all the thoughts, feeling. Mind as an object, and then you have sub objects present in the mind. Well, that is the fourth neighbor. Neighbor. Fifth neighbor is the intellect and I thought. The culprit is here. I thought is here. Mind is cooking its own story by getting emotionally attached. The intellect has a right knowledge of the Eastern wisdom about the real self plus the I thought. But this I thought cannot be removed if the mind marries to the intellect. Knowledge in the intellect, not the ego in the. So what happens? Why forgetfulness? We marries to the I thought. Then what happens? I'm lonely. Really? Who is not lonely? My marriage has a problem. Really? Mind already married to this I thought with all the impressions. That is why I'm suffering. I have forgotten behind it is the real self. And that why the sixth neighbor. What should we do? That is also, mantra can also help you. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. You get emotional because by the previous steps you got rid of all the six neighbors. May there be happiness for all. Why? That happiness is the real self. It is not that I'm happy. No, I am happiness. So that remembrance dissolves the I thought going to the mind seeking pleasure in the soulmate or expecting happiness after the marriage or a divorce, etc., etc. Long list. Are you getting not very subtle for you guys? Salvation. Get you need not to follow the way I followed in my life. You just follow the mantra. Mantra will be good. Or if you still your subconscious mind that you have learned from your society since your childhood, Jesus will do, Buddha will do, any object is I, but there should not be doubt about that object or that person. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Shanti, peace. Peace is a reference point for the mind to collect, gather, to strip all the emotions from the objects going to the knowledge. Shanti can work. May there be peace for all. But it is very subtle, and sometimes without an object it is not possible. Sarvesham Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. So this Purnam, what is incompleteness, what is seeking, what is doer and experience or incompleteness. That is why I'm performing an action to be complete. And what is the complete? Complete is the real self. Can you discern at the subtler level? It means what? Whatever the thought, feeling, emotions, plus anxiety, pleasure, seeking, etc., etc., belongs to the sense of incompleteness. I'm stripping those emotions which we normally say negative emotions. No emotion is negative or positive. Emotion attached is negative. Strip the negative emotion, strip the attachment, you have a positive emotion. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. Auspiciousness. Om Shanti. You say Om Shanti. Om Shanti is an object mentally. Om Shanti. Om. Symbol. Om. Symbol of what? Image of what? Image of the real self. What is its nature? Permanent peace. If it works, Om Shanti works. Yes, let it work. So you just say Om Shanti and become aware. Om Shanti, there is an awareness of the real self. I'm using the language which doesn't fit here, but still to help you understand. Om Shanti, nature of the real self, plus all the crazy thought, feeling, emotions. Let it be there. I is not there. What happens? That emotion, you get overwhelmed with the emotion when you say Om Shanti. Same thing happens when I remember my Guru. There's always emotional attachment to that Om Shanti. Now you can see that that is why I ask you to drop by repetition. Perhaps your mind has picked up. Drop Om Shanti on the 16 segments of the fingers without touching, without speaking, and sing loudly without moving the tongue or the lips. You are doing it mentally. Plus the emotion, Om Shanti. No, but I don't get that emotion. Remember, infatuation, you have some emotion. Eating a particular food, you have some emotion. Remember that. Bring that emotion here on the Om Shanti. Oh, so all our pleasurable experiences with objects, people, things is to learn from them to go for a pure emotion. Quite interesting. Now look inside the heart, visualize the triangle of any color. You see that I added both two objects. One is the triangle, other is the Om Shanti. And you drop Om Shanti on the sides of a triangle. Find the sync. Sync means what? You have dropped. At that moment, image of the real self. Mind seems to stop. Shanti. You say emptiness, mindfulness, whatever you want to say, it's okay. Whatever you say is also a language, it is an object, but we enter deeper. This will bring a tremendous transformation in your life. Satsang normally brings the transformation, continuous learning, listening, and bringing a change, but at present there is nothing absorbed completely. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. If you have any question, doubt, you can ask in How are you, Dennis? Hold on, Sami, don't go away.
Very intense emotion of happiness, and I replaced the object of that emotion with Om Shanti, and it caused a much deeper experience in the practice.
Beautiful. Yes. Yes. Now you see, that is why our master says, what will I should do? My honey did this. You are crazy. Get rid of those thoughts. I don't have this. Get rid of this don't have and have it. Still, we can discover that happiness. How are you, Stephen?
So thank you. I found the lesson to be quite intriguing. I can't believe how simple it is of how the mind tries to objectify everything.
Yes.
And just again, going back to all the tools that we've been given, the need to negate it and refocus to the one object of the real self. And then I couldn't stop thinking about, again, going back to just the basic principles of, awareness, discernment, dispassion, and how everything relates back to the ego.
Yes.
And as soon as we closed our eye, and it'll be a lot of contemplating or reflecting on today's lesson. As soon as I closed my eyes in meditation, I objectified the triangle. And my focus, no matter where you were, I was with you, but I was focused on the triangle. And it created a very deep experience for me today. So I will keep, I'll listen to this again and continue to contemplate and reflect, see where it goes. Thank you.
Beautiful. You used one word, intriguing. Yes. Why intriguing? Because this mind has lot of doubts. How can that real self be the nature of peace, happiness, and love? Same mind, same ego says, when I have experienced many types of happiness outside, the mind raises the ultimate doubt. Okay, you're talking to the real self, it is good. Now, those who live in ignorance, here I will qualify those people. I can go to the restaurant, I can experience one kind of pleasure, sex is another kind of pleasure, driving a car is another kind of pleasure, having lot of possessions is another. A real self is only one kind of. No, it is not pleasure, it is happiness. Because of the past impression, it continues to haunt you with a lot of doubts. So there is an internal effort, if I use the word, has to be done. The way say that, object is replaced clearly by the Om Shanti, and you see what happens. The way Dennis is done. Beautiful. How are you, Samir?
Sir, I think as we keep on doing meditation and regular practice, the irritation in ourselves start fading away.
Good.
It
Yeah.
is just like that somebody has different views on the same issue, and you don't get angry on that person, and you deal with him with another.
Yeah.
Means you don't fight. First, you get irritated from inside, then you start fighting with anyone. If you are
Yeah.
not irritated, you don't fight with anyone. That is the best thing if you are in peace. Means a lot of problems are solved on their own, and unnecessary arguments are not there in life.
Yes. First thing, what he is saying, it's a beautiful way. First, it means I'm aware, I'm irritated inside. Again, I thought an object, I get rid of it. Now I have to get the things done. So I rehearse irritation to get the things done. I'm playing irritation. I'm not entering into that. I don't disturb myself. The entire world outside is a play. It's a drama. It's a big drama. And if you understand that big drama, you are always with the real self. You're always with the real self. That's a big drama. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. The lesson came back to one word, and that's just awareness by being an observer. And we put a lot of emphasis into things at the false eye sees objects, attachment, those types of things. But if we really step back and just become an observer of the world, like you say, it's a play and a fun. And through the meditation today, that's what I was doing, is I was just observing the meditation, and I wasn't getting attached to any particular word or anything. So it was very peaceful. Thank you.
Beautiful. You see that one thing, one word, observer. Yes. Answer is yes. But what we are doing it behind that observer, what is going on? Why this observer becomes the observed? So once we know the entire process, what is happening behind? What I said, when the observer becomes the observed, you have anxiety, you have duality, you have conflict. As long as it is separate, there is no problem. People take, they are very emotional, sensitive. Why? They are looking at the horror film and the villain is beating the actor, and then they have tears in their eyes. No, you are crazy. I have to redirect those emotions to the real self rather than the event in a film. I may be very harsh making this statement, but think of it. Think of it. I'm not saying that, no. How are you, Jerry?
Very good, thank you. I had an experience similar to Dennis where the mind went to how do I know pure joy? Because I feel like I know pure love and peace, and so I feel like I've symbolized consciousness as that pure joy, almost like it's fluid and continuous, like a liquid almost. It's not really I don't see a person. And for that, because the mind went to how do you know authentic truth and all of these things, and I feel like we do once we've really attached to the self, that it all becomes so clear.
Yes, we have many mantras. One mantra is Anandoham. I am that bliss. I am that permanent joy. Or I am that permanent love. So you use the right word. I symbolize that consciousness. Without symbolizing, the mind cannot function. And we have to reach to a level of a transformation through the mind. That is why the mind has to symbolize. Whether you symbolize the consciousness of the nature of permanent love or permanent happiness or Om Shanti or the way I did it, because it becomes easy for me to visualize an object, an image of my master. Or you can do it symbolized by the Jesus. One thing more that I will bring here, you have seen in US also, in every country it happens. We have lot of I want to use the right word. I know, have you seen that those religious people go to the podium and they start acting out of that energy and something really happens because they don't understand this entire principle. When you do it with that, say, Om Shanti, or what Jerry is saying, that I'm the bliss, symbolizing that, you have a thrill, you have an upsurge of energy. So sometime because of misunderstanding, the body do not remain under your control. So those are taken as some power or some God has entered into me. It has nothing to do with it. Why the God should enter with making your body function abnormally? So we are studying Eastern wisdom. We are not studying any cult, dogma, belief. Be very clear about it. I had those experiences that I will talk later. How are you, Brandy?
Good, thank you. I just was thinking during the lesson about the necessity for satsang, for accompanied with the truth, when you get involved with all the neighbors, right? And try to figure out which way to go or what the truth is. It's easy to get caught up all the way out back in with the false impressions, and you need that time with the truth to not get involved with all of those neighbors. This is
Yes,
the best way I can put that.
yes. We have millions of distractions coming from the past impression where we are emotionally attached to all kinds of pleasures and pain. That is on one side. On the other side, there is only one real self. The mind says, no, why you pick up one real self? Go for other kinds of pleasures. And there it opens up with attachment and duality and a conflict and anxiety, and then say, I'm so lonely, etc., etc. Rightly said. Beautiful. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. I had complete separation from all the duality. And then I swung back to that familiar place of why can't we just sit here
Yeah.
and just be with the real self
Yes.
24/7 and forget all the to-dos? But then I came back to, you said we have to have all these emotions and events and to know the real self. So maybe it's possible to experience the drama of life with playfulness and fun, because the purpose is just to know the real self.
Beautifully said. I'm going to, because we are moving towards those topics and principles in a few weeks or a month's time, you said that why shouldn't I be with myself doing nothing? Real self is doing nothing. You don't go anywhere. Do you really go anywhere? Or it is the body, mind, intellect, and ego? It is the I thought which says, I have reached to the workplace. But there is a same consciousness. I have returned home. There is the same consciousness. I am fighting. It is the same consciousness. I'm happy. This is the same consciousness. So we are reaching there step by step. I don't go anywhere. Does the intellect has that conviction 200%? That is awakening. You have a conviction. You are talking, but inside there is a simultaneous awareness, being with myself. I'm not going anywhere. I didn't talk anything. I didn't teach you. Then are you getting it? Yeah? I'm not going anywhere. Why? The real self doesn't move. It is all pervading. It has no place to move. So yes, the mind has raised it out. Why I should be with the myself. Now after this session, I have to do a lot of work. Mind in a healthier way, but still it is ego. It is attached. Now I have to do a lot of things. It forgets the real self. That is the problem. That problem we are going to solve. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. The practice was calm, it was peaceful, and as you said, that giving an object to the mind where the emotions are pure. So it's like getting that space in the mind where there is no winning or losing, or there is no profit and loss. So it keeps the mind completely calm, and there's no activity happening in that space. So it remains calm.
Yes, yes. What I do, the moment I see you all, I say, oh, my guru is in the form of a Samir, another form is Brandy, another form is Jerry, third form is, fourth form is David, and then Dennis. You just remember and see what happens. You get rid of all those images which your mind has created subconsciously dissolves. Who is sitting? Only my mind. Oh, now the intellect raises the doubt. Are you teaching your guru? No, who is teaching? There is no teacher here. So it dissolves. In that moment, you have a revelations. In those moments, the consciousness reveals its knowledge in the mind. That we will take up gradually. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.